Hello, and welcome to the Wirecast, the video podcast of Wiregrass Georgia Technical College. I'm Michael Williams, and on this week's episode of the Wirecast, we are proud to host Harry Dunmire, our Gold Student of the Year, and Jill Kenbeek, our Rick Perkins Instructor of the Year. So join us. Welcome to the Wirecast. I'm your host, Michael Williams, and I'm excited to introduce our Gold Student of the Year, Harry Dunmire. Harry, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And so GOAL is Georgia Occupational Award of Leadership.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
and that's our Student of the Year, and it's a great honor. And so you're in our automotive program.
I am in the automotive program. Yes.
And you just came back from Skills USA, so you were also a Skills USA contestant, and you won bronze in automotive statewide.
I did. So this was the first year that I went to compete for automotive. Was my second year competing in Skills USA. Last year, did job demonstration open, took gold at state, and then went to nationals, and didn't medal at nationals, but it's still an amazing experience. It's an amazing opportunity, and from what I've been told, I'm the first gold medalist from the automotive program here at Wiregrass.
Okay,
so I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, tell me about last year, about the competition that you were in. You just tell us a little bit about job skills demonstration. What does that entail?
I can. So job skills demo. There's two parts of it. There's job skill demonstration open, and there's job skill demonstration A. Job skill demonstration open, you don't have to do what's in your program. You can do, if you're in barbering and you make a really killer peanut butter sandwich, you can describe how to make a really killer peanut butter sandwich.
Okay.
So that's the part of open. Job skill demo is pretty fun because it's really you versus you. It's not necessarily you versus everybody else like a lot of the other competitions. You go in, you do a demonstration. It's all about your confidence, how well you do what you're showing them that you're doing, and how you present. Where others, such as the automotive program, you're in a nitty gritty competition because you're going up against individuals that may have more experience than you. So you got to make up for it in different areas. Like maybe you're really good at interview, so you knock out a killer interview, but you're not so good at brakes.
Yeah.
So it just depends when it comes to that.
What kind of project did you guys do this year that you won bronze in? What was the assignment?
Holy cow. So this year I did automotive. So when I did automotive this year, we had, I believe it was 12 stations that cover a wide variety of ASE certification areas. So everything from brakes to tire balance and rotation, steering and suspension, automatic transmission, manual transmission. We covered it all.
Okay, so it's very comprehensive.
Absolutely. There's a whole bunch of different areas, and of those areas we deal with at the state level, you deal with high-end vehicles. So, for instance, brakes this year was on a Porsche. We don't have Porsches at Wiregrass, right? I don't know of anywhere in TCSG.
Toby, we need to get a Porsche at Wiregrass.
Where we have, I don't know of anywhere in TCSG where we have Porsches.
No.
Or high-end BMWs. So it gives us the ability to go see what's happening in the workforce today, seeing those type of platforms.
That's great.
It's awesome.
Well, then, so you were just honored this week for gold as well. And then last weekend we were all rooting you guys on. I mean, I made the joke. I didn't watch the Olympics at all. I watched Skills USA live from the Wiregrass marketing team. So it's incredibly exciting. How's your experience been as the Student of the Year so far?
It's been very humbling more than anything else. I'm not a kudos individual, so to be put in for it was kind of like take a step back and look at the things that I've done and kind of ask myself, hey, why'd I get put in for this? And then my instructor's coming through and saying, well, because you're good at this, you have a leadership talent and things like that I may not have saw. So I mean, it's been a humbling experience, and it's been a very fun experience because you get to meet the other contestants yesterday I met 6 other goal winners from their colleges, and they're fantastic people.
They
I
all
mean,
are. Yeah.
everybody's just they're so awesome at what they do, and it's just a natural. You meet these people, and it's like, man, I can see why you got picked. Like you're just a natural leader, or you're a personable person. I haven't heard everybody's stories yet, but I'm looking forward to hearing them in Atlanta.
Well, you're going to learn even more in Atlanta. And I was Rick Perkins Instructor of the Year, I think, in 2014, and I went up there with, I was a teacher so long that I like to be at the front of the room. And so I kind of had a bad attitude about it. It's like, I'm going to be up here to be talked at all week. But I immediately made friends with everybody else. And like you said, they were extraordinary individuals, and learning their stories and the connections you make. And then, that's a big fanfare. TCSG put some money behind that. That brand new Kia, like parked down there in the lobby of the Grand Hyatt Hotel, and then watching them drive it out. They have to open the lobby doors, and they have to Austin Powers that thing out the door like that. But it was really exciting. You got a strong beard. The last guy we had that won state, Ryan Degner, he had a beard just like that when he won. So I think that might be magic. Don't shave the beard until after the competition.
I'm not shaving the beard ever. Like this is where it's at.
Fair enough.
That was one of my things for skills, with talking with Toby and things like that. When I went in for skills, when he asked, he said, "Hey, we need you to do this." I said, "Do I have to shave?" He said, "I don't think so. If I have to shave, I'm not going." So
no, he should know better. Like,
yeah.
we were all down there when Ryan won, and I mean
Right.
they literally hand him the keys. It's not fake, and then he drives the car out the door and drives it home. And I hope we have that experience with you again this year.
Me too.
Tell us a little bit about your backstory. You and I were talking a little bit. You were originally from Pennsylvania.
I am. So I'm originally from a small town called Shalocta, Pennsylvania. There's about 117 people in it. I'm pretty sure I'm related to most of them, or I know most of them. When I was younger, right in the 80s, we had steel mills around Pittsburgh closed down. Western Pennsylvania, it got a little crazy, as far as jobs, and things started going downhill. So in order for my dad to make what he needed for his family, we moved to Florida, and then from Florida to Missouri, Missouri to South Carolina, back to Pennsylvania in '99, and I was in Connellsville, Pennsylvania at the time, and wasn't much going on in Connellsville. Just kind of reinforced a passion that I had from about the time I was 12 years old, that I wanted to join the military. I have a military family. My grandfather was Omaha Beach, World War II, Purple Heart recipient.
Wow.
Was a hero.
Mm.
And then my dad was Army. My brother was Army after me, so we won't count him yet. But
he followed in your footsteps.
we'll say that. But I joined the Air Force in 1999 in August. Went to basic training, and then retired just under 23 years later here at Moody Air Force Base. So we like the area, we like Georgia, and we think we're going to stick around for a little while. So
Well, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank
Tell
you
us
for
a
your
little bit
support.
about what you did in that 23 years. Did you get any training in the Air Force that's been applicable to what you're doing at Wiregrass?
A little bit. Career logistics was air transportation when I was in the Air Force. So that basically, the easiest way to sum that up is everything that you see done in an airport that's not maintenance is what we do. So passenger service, cargo, hazardous material handling, labs, right? So I've had the distinct honor to pump the laboratories off of Air Force One a few times, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not as fun as everybody thinks. But you in that experience, I've gotten to meet a lot of people, a lot of interesting people, a lot of our politicians, and Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, things like that. So I'm definitely not scared to talk to people. We're all the same, no matter what we hold. So a lot of logistics experience. What brought me to automotive is I have a massive passion for racing. I love racing, and I don't want to watch that sport decline. So that's part of my goals.
Do you like the local circuit? Or are you a NASCAR guy, or both? Or
I real big into NHRA.
Mhm.
My brother, I'll throw a plug out to him. He races dirt track, so he does front wheel drive dirt track in northern Georgia, South Carolina, things like that. And I help him every now and then when he calls me and says, "Hey, I need somebody to help me on the car." I'll go up and help him out. So we've been to dirt track, World of Dirt in Charlotte. We went to there for the World Dirt Track Finals
Okay.
in, I don't even remember when. It was sometime earlier this year or late last year, whenever racing season was in. But I have a big big passion for NHRA. So I like going fast in a straight line in a quick amount of time. So I'll be at the Gator Nationals on the 6th, and then we have the Southern Nationals May 1st through the 3rd. That'll be here at South Georgia Motorsports Park in our own backyard. So,
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you ever go to any races out there? I've not been yet. Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, we got back from Skills Saturday at about 4:30 ish. Sunday morning at about 9:30 or so, I was out at SGMP because Lights Out is one of their major events throughout the year, and those guys are doing a killer job out there on getting everything ready and whatnot. So I turned around right from Skills and spent all day Sunday at South Georgia Motorsports Park at the races.
Well, that's funny. Before we got started, I asked you a little bit what you like to do in your spare time, and you said work on cars. Right. So that's what you do as a student. That's what you do as a hobby. That's what that's your life. You have a passion for it.
As they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Right?
That's right.
That's what they say. So I try and do what I like at least a little bit every day.
Well, you're a car guy. Most car guys, you can ask them, what's your favorite? Like, you got a muscle car that if you could just drive anything you wanted.
So, sad story, but not really a sad story. So I've actually owned my personal favorite, right? My dream car is a 1987 Buick Grand National. And I owned that car, and I was leaving my dad's house. I don't even remember what year it was. Me and the family, we were safe, but the car's not so much. But I broke a tie rod at about 75 mile an hour on a lifted truck and totaled my truck and my dream car in the same accident. So I've owned my dream car, and I want another one, but thanks to I don't know, we'll throw out Kendrick Lamar, right? So thanks to Kendrick Lamar, my dream car's value went way up recently. So yeah.
Well, maybe you'll get a dream Kia in April in Atlanta, and you could trade it for an '87 Buick Grand National.
Well, I can't sell it for at least a year according to what I signed. So I did read it, but maybe. That's the plan, is to go up and do great. But if I don't win gold, I know that somebody deserving is going to win it, and it's going to be good for all colleges.
The most frustrating thing about it is they already know who the finalists are as of yesterday, but they're not going to tell you until you get to Atlanta. How do you feel about that?
If I don't know, I can't stress over it.
That's true.
So I mean, there's that part, and I'm glad that they don't wait until the last minute to figure it out. That's good too. I don't tend to stress on things if I don't need to. I think things are going to happen if they're meant to happen. So,
how did you feel about your interview yesterday?
Felt great.
Good.
I am unapologetically myself, right? I always have been. And if you ask me a question, I'm going to throw the answer out, and it's going to be my genuine answer. So I don't church things up. I don't dress things down. You get what you get. So hopefully I gave them enough of me, and I was good enough.
Well, if you answered like you're answering today, I think you probably did fine. What's next? What are you going to do after graduation?
My plans for within the next 5 years is I'm hoping, like, I'm going to push real hard to open my own speed shop here in the local community, probably in Nashville, because that's where I live. The reason that I want to open a speed shop is, like I said before, I have a passion for racing, and I love racing. Racing is making a comeback, but it's not going to stay with those of us that are in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. It needs to stay with those that are in their, teens and 20s and 30s, because that's the future, and that's what I'm hoping to bring along, is the next generation of racers. So I want to open a speed shop. Talking to an individual in Nashville now about building race motors. So that's kind of going to be the next step that gets my foot into that. And my ultimate goal is to one day have some sponsors and be the guy in the driver's seat that's doing 250 mile an hour down the drag strip.
Well, I wish you all the best with it. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Back to the Wirecast. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our next guest to you today, the Wiregrass Rick Perkins Instructor of the Year for 2026, Miss Jill Kenbeek. Jill, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you come to be an instructor? You're a nursing instructor on our Valdosta campus, so just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm one of the LPN instructors here at Wiregrass. I came to Wiregrass in 2021. I was actually in the allied health department in the PCA program initially. So teaching the students before they come into the program. So that was nice to get the foundation in with that. And then a position came available, and I just jumped right on it and have been breezing through for the last couple of years. So it's been fun.
Well, it's a great honor. You and I were talking before the podcast began about you've only been here 5 years, and most people don't become Rick Perkins Instructor of the Year in only 5 years because you have to be here for 3 just to be eligible, and then you had to be nominated by your peers. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know who nominated you?
I do know one, and I don't know the others, but it's been a whirlwind going through this process for sure. Just the people that I have met throughout this and to come, because I'm barely scratching the surface of the things that are yet to come. We still have regionals and states, so practicing on that speech.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've been here 20 years, and it really is. It's a great selection process because I think we do always get to the bottom of like who are the great instructors, and obviously your students know if you're a great instructor, but your peers know as well, and those people stand out.
Yeah, it comes from a different a view because you do want to do so well in the classroom, and you get that at the end when you see that light bulb moment and you go, oh, they're getting what I'm teaching, and that's great. But to know that your counterparts, your cohort, your teachers, they see it as well because they're not in the classroom with you day in and day out, but they see the time that you're putting into something, and they see that your heart and passion is in it, and it is really good to be able to be recognized by your peers that they see it as well.
Well, how's the process been so far? So you've written a speech. Who helped you with that at the college, or did anybody?
I wrote it on my own. It is the story of me, of how I got to this position. And now Corinne, she has been great. She has been my person, my rock that's getting me throughout all of the Rick Perkins events. So, but yeah, we're diligently trying to get that speech stuck in my brain, so I'll remember it.
How long has it taken you to say it?
I've got it right at 3 minutes,
That's
which
perfect.
is I just did it before coming on the show. I'm like, let me practice one more time, and it was 3 minutes on the dot. So we're good. I just
Right.
got to keep practicing.
You looking forward to regionals?
I am. I'm looking forward to a lot more practice before I get there, but I think the speech comes naturally because it's who I am. It's easy to tell your own story, but the questions that they may ask, you just never know what's going to be asked of you. So I hope that I can do my best for Wiregrass when I'm there.
Well, I know you will. It's an exciting process. I read your speech, and you're from Lakeland originally?
Not originally. I was from South Florida originally, but we've been up here, gosh, now almost 20 years. So might as well say it's home now.
Okay. But you said you grew up with, your father was a bus driver and a cattle farmer. Is that right?
Mom was a bus driver. Dad was a cattleman. So I lived on, not ours, he was the manager, but I lived on a 14,000 acre ranch.
Oh, wow.
I know, one of the biggest ones that are down there. And like I said, not ours, but we treated it like ours. We hunt, we fished, we did all the things, and just, loved.
What kind of cattle did you run on that ranch?
Oh, we primarily had like Angus, some Brayfords, a little bit of Brahmins.
That's the trend. Is everybody? When we started ours, we were doing Brayfords back in the '90s, and then that Angus beef market got so hot, and every time you would see the commercials of Black Angus, and so I run primarily Angus cattle today, but I really enjoyed it. It sounds like it was a good part of your childhood.
Yeah, looking back, I mean, like I said in my speech, we didn't have an extravagant life, but today people would not imagine the things that we did in my childhood growing up. So in that part of it, I felt very rich in my childhood because people just don't live like that anymore. We had a piece of property in the back part of the 14,000 acres that was a old camp house, pitcher pump, no electricity, on the same piece of property, and you felt like you were just away from everything. So it was fun. There's not many people now that can say, yep, I grew up like that.
Sure, yeah, so. Very few in the whole country. Well, so you moved to Lakeland, and then you were a stay-at-home mom, and you went back to school to get your nursing degree. So tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So the kids were 3 or 4, and I was like, look, one income family is just not making it. When you want more in life, unfortunately, in today's economy, it takes both. And I was like, okay, let's finish what I started. It's time to go back to school. So went back to school, got my bachelor's in nursing, started out in labor and delivery, which was great. Seeing life come in this world, it's just a great experience. And love women's health. Most of my experiences in women's health, either the labor and delivery aspect of it or in surgical and ambulatory surgery center here in town. So loved it, loved bedside, great opportunities with precepting new grads. And you see as a nurse when the new grads come in, things you wish you could change before they got to you. And honestly, that's where the idea of becoming an instructor come from, is that if I could get to the point of where that person's setting that foundation in their schooling, then maybe I can make them the nurse that I want them to be and that their coworkers would want them to be, and have that work ethic and that critical thinking skills, and be the person that's putting it and instilling it into them early, before they even get into the workforce. So that's what really drove me to become an LPN instructor.
That's great. I've never heard that perspective before, but seeing the new ones come in and then thinking, I wish I could have made a change.
Mm-hmm. What better way? Just get in there and start doing it, and teaching them the way that you want them to be inevitably at the end of their career, or in the end of their schooling.
So how long did you practice before you came to become a teacher?
Oh, goodness. Let me do some math. So I've been here almost 5 years, and I've been a nurse for almost 18 years
Okay.
total. So a lot of bedside experience before deciding to, come on board here with Wiregrass. So I bring a lot of the skill and knowledge. So a lot of it's maternity and women's health, but short stint in home health with some geriatric patients. So kind of well-rounded, and some things that I can bring to our students. So
What advice would you give a young person in a similar role or similar situation, where you stay-at-home mom, or you're struggling with life in some way, and then they want to change their career?
Well, I highly encourage them to come here to Wiregrass, because part of my story in my speech that you've read is the fact that back in 2005, with, y'all weren't on Facebook scrolling, back then, and it was so easy to see Wiregrass and find Wiregrass now, but back then it wasn't. So it took me student loans to go back to school to be able to, get my degree. And honestly, I wish that I had known at that point in time that there was a better way, because I come out of school with $40,000 of debt. Granted, I had a degree, but it's so much easier way of doing it. So much, less financial hardship if you do it through a technical college instead of going to the big university right away. And I have to say, after being a part of an instructor here at our program and knowing the foundation and the skills and content that we're teaching our students here, I don't want to name drop where I went to school, but honestly, we put such effort and content into our students that honestly, the education that they're getting with our program far exceeded what I got, even in a bachelor's program.
That's great to hear you say that.
I mean, we go to clinicals more in our program than I did in my program. So, I mean, I just think that the hands-on experience and the skills that they're getting with our program is phenomenal.
Well, I've never worked in the allied health sector of Wiregrass, and so I probably know the least about it. But then I see every couple of years we'll be number one program in the state,
yes.
And it's just outstanding. And people ask me, "Is that true?" And it's yes, it's 100% true. We're the number one program in the state.
Well, it's shown that the nursing degree itself is one of the hardest undergrad degrees to get. It is all life consuming, and that's kind of my first day speech with my students. Give me a year of your life. You're gonna have to make sacrifices. You're tell your family that you're reading your textbook, because you got to read. But just give me a year of your life, and I can change your life at the end of it.
That's great. That's a powerful statement. Yeah. What's the hardest part of that program? A&P? Everybody always dreads A&P.
Well, we don't. Our students aren't required to do A&P coming into LPN anymore. We had some curriculum changes with the state and everything, but I think it's just the fast pace the amount of content they have to learn in that year's time to be able to, at sometimes you're doing 2 courses at the same time, to be able just to divide your time up appropriately and come to class prepared. I mean, it's just, like I said, life consuming for at least a good year. So it's hard. You got to have that 110% dedication to it, because if you don't, you're not going to get out what you put in.
Absolutely. Well, I envy you going through this process for the first time. I went through, I think, in 2014, and just the act of having to give that speech, nobody wants to do that over and over again, but it makes you so much better as a speech maker. It just gives you confidence for public speaking that I had never had before. And then the process in Atlanta is exciting as well. And I went into that with the wrong attitude. Because they pair you up, you do a lot of group work, you're in sessions all day, and I was thinking, I don't want to do this. I had so much fun.
Did you?
Yeah, I learned a lot.
That. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you will. It's a growth experience.
Yeah.
And then, they make it fun every night. They have that big game night now. But when I went, they had a hypnotist that came in, and all the TCSG sitting there, and he's hypnotized, and it was real. I didn't believe in hypnotism, but
I don't either.
They were calling people from the audience, and they were having presidents of technical colleges completely humiliate themselves on stage.
Oh, no.
I presume that's why they don't do it anymore. Now they always do the game show, but it's a fun week, and you will definitely feel honored up there.
I'm looking forward to it, and just the networking in itself, getting to meet all the other candidates from across the state. So, I've met lots of people so far just within our organization here at Wiregrass through this. So,
yeah, you'll make lifelong friends for sure, and you'll always remember it.
Yeah.
Well, Jill, tell us. You're obviously a passionate educator. I'm sure you got a lot going on. What do you do? What do you like to do when you're not at work?
Well, I have 2 grandbabies that were born 6 months apart. So my daughter lives 3.5 hours one way, son lives 3.5 hours the other way. So every other weekend, we're usually on the road seeing our grandbabies. Oldest one just turned a year around the Christmas time. So we are newly Yaya and Poppy. So we enjoy our time by loving on our kids and grandkids.
Well, congratulations. That's
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And so you live in Lakeland. Where do you like to go eat? What's your favorite place to go eat?
Well, we've started to get a lot of new restaurants in Lakeland, actually. There really wasn't much because we're kind of a small little rural town, but we're starting to grow. We're getting there. But if we want something really nice, we'll end up coming here. And I'm a cattle woman, so I'm going to want my steak. So, we're usually going to Texas Roadhouse or Austin's or something like that to get a good, nice, medium rare steak.
Yeah, Austin's is a famous sort of Valdosta institution for sure. When I went to college in Valdosta, Lakeland was on the way home for me, and there used to be a place called the Bee Burger. And was that there when you were there?
No, that has long since been gone. I think that was off Main Street, just on a little dirt road behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little block building.
No, not there anymore.
I loved it. I would call ahead, which I don't think anybody did that. They weren't used to people doing call-in orders. I'd be like, I'm coming through in 25 minutes. I want a burger.
Now, do you know what Bits is?
No.
If y'all are ever in Lanier, you need to go eat you some Bits, but don't take it all because it's my favorite. No, they're a good chicken place.
Okay, it's great. And then y'all are the olive oil capital of the world now, too.
Yes, it is nice. I'm not quite sure if they're currently still making it, but Gala's Grits, they make grits.
That's
too,
right,
and
yeah.
It's so good. Very good. Very good.
I always, I remember telling my dad in my early 20s when I first started liking olives, and I was like, they grow them in Spain, like it's a higher latitude than us. Like, why can't you grow them in Georgia? And he's like, if you could do that, somebody already figured it out, and
someone did.
But somebody did, yeah after us. Well,
we like that.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm excited for you. We're all going to be cheering you on at regionals, and then we're all going to be so proud to have you represent us in Atlanta. Thank you so much.